In 1922, neighbors swore they heard Clara Miller laughing in the fields at midnight, even when her family insisted she was asleep inside.
The Miller family of Hollow Creek, Indiana, were known as hard-working, God-fearing people. Thomas Miller, the father, worked the land as his father had before him: wheat, corn, and a small herd of dairy cows. His wife, Margaret, kept the home, sold butter and preserves at the county market. Their children still lived with them: Samuel, 25, who helped his father in the fields, and Clara, 22, quiet, reserved, spending her days sewing, reading scripture, and caring for the chickens. The Millers weren't wealthy, but they were respected, faithful, steady, decent, which is why what happened in the autumn of 1922 shook Hollow Creek to its core.
It started with whispers. The Jenkins family across the valley reported hearing laughter at night. High, sharp, drawn out. A woman's laughter cutting through the stillness of the fields. They swore it came from the Miller farm, but Thomas denied it. "My Clara has been in bed every night," he said. "She is no wild thing wandering the fields."
But others heard it too. Farmhands heading home late saw a figure at the edge of the Millers' wheat fields. A woman, short hair loose, standing still under the moonlight. Some said she vanished if they called her name. Others swore they heard her laugh, even though her lips never moved. At first, the Millers told themselves it was sleepwalking. Margaret bolted the doors at night, kept everyone under one roof, but the laughter continued, and Clara began to change. Samuel told a neighbor his sister would sit in the yard for hours, staring at the barn. And when he spoke to her, she turned, smiling in a way that made his stomach twist. Her voice grew strange, layered, as if two people were speaking at once. At supper, she prayed backwards, scripture recited in reverse, until Thomas slammed his fist on the table and demanded she stop.
The livestock sensed it too. Cows kicked at their stalls. The dog refused to enter the house. The horses bucked violently when Clara came near the barn. By September, neighbors kept away. They whispered, "Clara has the devil's sickness." One farmhand swore he saw her reflection in the well, smiling up at him, though she wasn't there at all.
Thomas dismissed it. "She's sick, that's all." But Margaret grew terrified. One night, she woke to find Clara standing beside her bed, face inches away, smiling faintly. When she screamed, Clara whispered, "I was only listening."
Reverend Jameson was finally called. He came with the Bible, a flask of holy water, and 2 church elders. They entered Clara's room. She sat cross-legged on the bed, head tilted, smiling at nothing. The Reverend began to pray, but Clara's voice joined his. She recited the same words, backwards, mocking. Later, the Reverend wrote in his journal. Her eyes turned black as coal. Her tongue spoke words no man could know. The air grew heavy. Candles flickered without wind. This is no illness. This is possession.
The elders urged Thomas to confine her, for her safety and for their safety. She was locked in her room, boards nailed across the door. But each night the laughter continued. Neighbors swore they still heard her outside, laughing in the fields, even though she was locked inside. In October, screams rang out from Clara's room. Thomas and Samuel tore down the boards. Inside, the bed was overturned. the sheets shredded. But Clara was gone. There were no footprints, no broken windows, no forced door. Only faint scratches carved into the floorboards, leading to the wall.
The search lasted weeks. The sheriff's men scoured the fields, the woods, even the wells. Nothing. Her shoes and coat were still in the house, her belongings untouched. But Clara Miller was never seen again. Old photographs of Clara became objects of fear. In every image, her eyes looked darker than the rest of the family's. Some swore her smile seemed to change over time, widening, stretching, even though the photographs never left the Miller house.
The Millers never recovered. Margaret wasted away within a year. Thomas worked the land in silence, bitter and broken. Samuel left town, moved west, and never spoke of it again. The farmhouse still stands, boarded, abandoned. Locals call it the House of Laughter. They say on cold October nights, if you stand at the edge of the fields, you will hear Clara's voice, laughing. A laugh that does not belong to the living. A laugh waiting for someone to answer. And the neighbors of Hollow Creek still whisper the same words they did a century ago. We heard her laughing in the fields, even when she was supposed to be asleep inside.